Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
The Foleyposeable.
Have your own WrestleMania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling figure.
Each sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hey, welcome to episode 266 of the Foleyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, longest running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today. My name is Jeff, and sitting alongside next to me is my real life brother. Not storyline brother. Scott. Scott, say hello.
Hello.
And Scott, today we have some very special guests from the Chick Foley Show. We've got Seth, we've got Sheena, and we've got Marco. Welcome to the show.
Hi, we're not storyline brothers or sisters or real life brothers or sisters, but we're so stoked to be here.
You're part of our faction. How about that?
I love it.
Nice. They're doing a run-in tonight.
Yeah, it's the invasion.
Yeah, we said we were going NWO. You know, we need to have the static and say, you know, the following announcement is paid for by the Chick Foley Show.
I'm still waiting on payment due, by the way. Marco, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing great. I'm actually very nervous / excited to be here with you guys. This is unprecedented for me right now. I listen to you guys pretty much every week, and now I'm on your show. This is very strange.
Oh,
don't be nervous.
Thanks, man. It's our pleasure to have you guys on.
Honestly, Scott and I are really nothing special, so don't even be nervous.
We're very unprofessional around here.
You're special to us.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, as you guys are to us. Seth and Sheena, what's going on with you guys?
Just hanging out, man. We talked about in our show, we recently got our 3-year-old back to where he's sleeping through the night. So we got a whole brand new lease on life. You know, we can do figtography, recording all kinds of bonus podcasts. Like, yeah, we're having a blast, man. So yeah, it's been a busy week of wrestling, you know, with TakeOver last week going into Elimination Chamber. So definitely need the extra time in the evening to keep up with all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Seth and Sheena, you actually used to do figure photography back in the day, right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot more. We still have, our little fig faction. It's called Instagram Championship Wrestling. If you look up the hashtag on Instagram, you can check it out. And, it's every couple of weeks now. We used to do it every week religiously and sometimes a couple times a week, but that was before kids, obviously. But now, yeah, we put together a match at least every other week, and people vote. We'll have the match up and they can vote one or two. And it's a lot of fun for us. So we still get our figtography. It's nothing too professional though.
Yeah. In Hawaii, we had like a whole like full sized arena. Like we had like 2 of the extreme sets put together. It was like, you know, WrestleMania 3 style. We had a whole backstage area, and when we moved back to Virginia, we just kind of downsized it. We went from WrestleMania to like Shotgun Saturday Night. If you guys remember that show from back in the day?
Yeah.
So you guys had all the lighting set up and everything, huh?
Oh yeah. We still have a little lighting rig, but yeah, it's nothing compared to the garage.
Yeah, it was a lot bigger production in Hawaii. I basically took over a whole garage to the point to where if we had non-wrestling fans come over, like sometimes I'd have to hide everything because I'm like, I don't even want to begin to try to explain what I have happening in my garage.
Yeah, we had like a whole pop audience and people would be like, why do you have this in your garage? Like,
it
what
was
is
ridiculous.
happening here? You know, and we didn't have any kids, so we couldn't even blame the kids for like having all these toys, you know?
That's hilarious because usually like people have to hide that they're wrestling fans because there is some stuff in wrestling that people don't want to share. Like, how do you explain the Katie Vick thing to someone? Or how do you explain, some stuff that's so cringe in wrestling? It's like, okay, we're just going to fast forward past all this.
Yeah. And you know, what's funny is that I feel like non-wrestling fans, like those are the things that they cling to and those are the things that they remember. So like when you say you're a wrestling fan, like they're not thinking of the iconic moments, you know, they're thinking of like those cringe segments where they're like, really? You're into that? That's weird, you know?
So Seth and Sheena and Marco, why'd you guys get your plugs out of your way?
So you can find me on Instagram at Chick Foley. You can find Marco running the Twitter machine over at Chick Foley Show. And then you can join our Foley fam, chickfoleyshow.com. But that's about it.
You can find the podcast on pretty much any podcast service out there far and wide. So just search Chick Foley Show to check that out.
Hey, Marco, how bad do you hate Twitter? Just asking for a friend.
Why do you think I let him just run it all?
I can brave the storm. That's why she has me running the Twitter. I shut people down at any instance. Just ask Just ask the 123 kid. Yeah, just ask him. He'll let you know how I play on Twitter. But
Scott, what's going on with you over there, man?
Oh, it's just another beautiful day. Great weather today out here in Tracy. Have some Bang strawberry. What is it? Strawberry Delish Kiss or Strawberry Kiss Delish or Strawberry Pop Rocks?
Yeah, that's exactly what it tastes like. It was so funny. You came over Saturday to pick up the stuff that I had for you, and I gave you a few cans. And as you were, where were you? Castro Valley, Pleasanton? You're like, dude, it's Pop Rocks.
Yeah, actually, Shannon called that.
It is Delish Strawberry Kiss. That's right.
So yeah, got that running through me today. Thank you for the few cans of that. It's going to get me through the show. And aside from that, just happy to have some company on the show.
Real talk, you guys really make me want to try Bang. I was off the energy drink bandwagon. I hadn't had an energy drink since 2016, and then the sleep training that we just recently talked about. It broke me, and I drank I won't kill your guys' plug, but I drank an energy drink who shall not be named, and I've been on them ever since. And I'm like, oh my gosh! Now that I'm back on the energy drinks, like it's wide open. Like I feel like I need to try all these Bangs you guys talk about.
Well, which one did you try? Because we're not sponsored or anything by them. We just like them, so we talk about them.
I drink the OG. I drink the OG. I drink Red Bull.
Oh, okay, that's still a good one.
Yeah, the original energy drink.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Bang, so we're all good over here.
Listen, I'm trying to get you sponsored by Bang. I want you sponsored by Bang. Dude.
I look at the convenience store down the street from us. They have like a ton of selection of Bang, and I look at the flavors every time just off you guys' podcast. I'm like, all right, I wonder when they're going to talk about this one.
Yeah.
You have to be attractive. Like you see a lot of their models are always, attractive.
You guys aren't the demographic they're going for.
We don't fit that mold. Yeah.
I don't know how many models are out there pounding energy drinks. You know what I mean? That's like false advertisement. It's all the nerds that are out here drinking energy drinks. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, the gamers and podcasters, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all game fuel. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Jeff, if only I look better in a bikini. Damn it.
I saw you that one time. I thought you were fine, dude. I don't know.
It's what you get for peeping, dude.
Hey. Anyways, you can get our shirts for Pro Wrestling Tees or whatamaneuver.net. And as I said on the Chick Foley Show, just Google us. You can just find us on there, find our shows, find our website, find us on Podbean. If you want to send us any audio questions, or anything else at all, send it on over to FoleyPosableWFP@gmail.com. Now, I'm going to turn it over to our guest. Mark, I'll start with you. Did you get anything in the mail, or did you do any toy spotting?
I did not get anything in the mail. I've been trying to social distance, doing a lot of shopping online, as they like to say. Yeah, so just ordered the UFC Series 1 from Jazzwares, the ones that are in scale with the rest of the figures. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter actually posting pictures of them with like Elite figures and AEW figures, and he did his job. Jeremy, friend of the show, friend of the Chick Foley Show, Jeremy Hadauer, did a great job with the UFC figures. So I grabbed those up, and that was pretty much it. I'm going back and forth on Elite Series 85 right now. Not sure what I want to pick. I don't want the whole series. I know I want a few figures from that line, but I'm just not sure like what to go with.
So actually, you're the first person to mention the UFC figures on this show. What do you think of them? Like, are you impressed by them, or are you like, okay, they're cool?
No, they're great. I bought the first series that they did, the ones that were kind of smaller than the, I think they were 6-inch. Mm-hmm. They're all the same size. I really like the articulation on those. They pretty much follow the same blueprint as the AEW figures.
Okay.
Obviously, they're a little bit smaller, but I still have mine. I definitely have to get the Daniel Cormier one because everyone says I look like Daniel Cormier, so I have kind of like my own custom figure right now. Those figures are great. The posability on them is super amazing. That's why I picked up this series with the scaling, because I want to obviously you want to set up the the Conor McGregor versus whoever in the WWE or AEW. Mm-hmm. I'd like to say maybe Kenny Omega, have that match happen. So I mean, no, they're great. I definitely love them.
You have to set up like a figure photography and just have that match going on and stuff like that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
Seth and Sheena, did you guys pick up anything recently?
So I think we got one in common. I'll let you guys talk about it when it comes up. Our friends Mass Republic hooked us up with a little something. So very excited to get that. Did you guys open yours yet?
Are you kidding?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding?
I forgot one. I forgot who I'm talking to here.
What are you doing?
You're killing our gimmick over here, man.
Yeah, my bad. Anyways, yeah, so we got those. Other than that, not much, man. The pegs have been bare here. Like I said, I'm able to check. We got a Walmart right down the street from us. I'm able to check a few times a week, and there's been one lonely Rhea Ripley that's been sitting there by herself, and that's it. So it's been dry. We did get I got my shipping notification that my Conor McGregor figure is on the way. I'm supporting that line. I'm not a big MMA fan. I'm supporting that line just because I want Jazzwares to give us a scale octagon. I think that would be really cool. I just want to play with my wrestlers in it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even really care about the UFC. I just want to have the octagon to have, recreate the Lion's Den match between Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart or something.
Have like a fight pit match.
Yeah, the fight pit. Yeah.
Yep. And you guys can do figure photography over there and stuff when you get that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we did get the Masked Republic boss fight. Now, you guys haven't cracked those open, have you?
No,
not yet.
No, they're sitting there waiting to go.
Okay, yeah. Scott and I are not ones to crack it open because I don't know about you, Scott, but those things are beautiful and would look beautiful signed.
Yes,
yeah,
they would look cool.
They do.
What color paint pen would you go with those on the black and red with the gray box? What do you think would hit on that?
Blue or yellow?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking yellow would look good with the red.
Yellow would look fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, yellow would pop. Don't go red because that would blend in a little bit too much.
Yeah.
We want a contrasting color. We want a yellow. We want a white would even work on that. So you need something that stands out, a signature that stands out and stuff. So, Scott, what'd you think of them?
I love them. I absolutely love them. I stuck them next to my carded Mattels, and one thing I noticed is that the scale is maybe a little bit smaller than like a Mattel Elite, but the detailing is just. I mean, that Penta second head alone.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's worth the price of admission.
Insane.
It's incredible. I can't recommend them enough. The tattoo work on those guys. Oh, my goodness. And the accessory set, the first ever dog collar and chain, unbelievable. Yeah. Just, I can't wait to see what else they do.
I'm going on change.org and starting a petition to get you guys open.
Yeah, the figures are absolutely gorgeous, and the posability, because I know Eric Arana, and he shows me all the time on Lucha Libre Figures and Facts. He shows me all the posability to the figures. You can do so much with them. You can put them in different moves. Yeah, the figures are just amazing. The light tubes, the accessories that came with it. Everything is amazing about it. One thing I did notice is the tattoo work is a little bit darker on Penta and Phoenix. Compared to the AEW figures, where it's a little bit lighter, because I compared the two and I noticed that the tattoo work was just a little bit darker on the boss fight figures. But it's killing me not to open them. But at the same time, I know that one day they will get signed.
Jeff, what's the scaling to the AEW figures from what you've seen? Because you can actually put them now side by side. I don't have the Penta and Phoenix from the AEW line, but what's the scaling from those two?
They're a little bit smaller, like as far as width.
Okay.
They're just a little bit smaller. Height-wise, I think they're about the same.
Okay.
But yeah, again, we can't make that comparison. We're mint on card. It was funny when I was doing the IG live, someone goes, "Open it," and I was like, "What?
Are you high?"
No. Yeah. What are you smoking? Ain't happening.
You were hoping they were just going to catch you off guard.
The picture that I saw at one of the toy fairs or whatever, they had them displayed next to a Kurt Angle Elite, and yeah, I think you kind of nailed it, Jeff. I think they're like a touch smaller than the Mattel scale, and then AEW's a little bit bulkier than Mattel also. So yeah, I think they're going to be like a hair small, but I think they'll look fine on anybody's shelf. And if you're MOC, they're definitely going to look money. So I'm excited for this line. Have you guys pre-ordered the Juventud and Taya Valkyrie yet?
I haven't pre-ordered them. I'm actually waiting on their next series because it's going to have Conan in a different look.
Yeah.
And that's the one I really want that one. I'm iffy on Juventud. They do have a few more other Fanatico figures coming out that I'm interested in. That's down the road.
I'm hoping he's looking. Do you remember what Conan looked like when he first debuted in WCW before he became K-Dog? He had almost like Ultimo Dragon style gear on, like except for no mask.
Yes.
Are we talking, what was that, Global Wars or something like that?
Oh, the 90s Starcade?
I remember he actually fought Ric Flair for the U.S. title at Bash at the Beach 96. It was on the undercard. And that was like my first time really seeing Conan wrestle. And he did look like K-Dog. He had some crazy, like almost gladiator style gear on.
There was a pay-per-view back in the early 90s. I want to say it was 90 or 91, where they pulled a bunch of tag teams.
It was Starcade 90, dude.
Conan was at that?
Yeah.
He was.
Okay,
Team
wow,
Mexico.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun going back and watching all that stuff and seeing who's there and who isn't. Like seeing all the job guys from wrestling challenges or old school WWF stuff and seeing who became famous. I love seeing that.
So Jeff, do you think they do a ring?
Fingers crossed.
Yes, I agree.
I think they do. That's just a prediction, but I won't say. I think they will.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. Scott, did you do any toy spotting?
Aside from the boss fight, I am literally waiting on pins and needles to see which $1 Million Man I get from Target. Dude, you know what this reminds me of is in like the 80s and early 90s, opening up packs of cards and looking for inserts.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm going to crack open the box super slow just to see and get that first glimpse of his outfit. I'm hoping for the silver. My luck, it's going to be the black outfit, but I'll be totally fine with that because this is one I'm actually going to open unless it's the chase. And then I'll be on the hunt for the standard version, but still waiting on Target. Should be here any day now.
Have you gotten the shipping notification?
Yeah, it said actually next Friday it'll be here, but then something else came and said it'll be here a little bit sooner, so we'll see.
All right. By the way, I reported on San Leandro Walmart last week, AEW stuff popping with the 6+ on BrickSeek. It still says 6+. So
what the hell?
Yeah,
I've
given up on BrickSeek and Pop Finder. I've had too many times where like, so we have one like the furthest Walmart that's away from me. It's like a 35-minute drive. That's like still within striking distance. And there's been 3 or 4 times where BrickSeek or Pop Finder has popped, and I drive all the way over there, and it's the same old stuff on the pegs. And like I've even had like helpful employees try to help, actually make an effort to find them. And they're like, yeah, I don't know where these numbers are coming from. We have nothing right now. So I've totally abandoned those. I'm going back just old school, just, winging a prayer and hope there's something on the shelf.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers over there.
Oh yeah. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, it's funny because I keep checking daily. It says 6+. And it's funny too, because there's another Walmart that's about 35 miles south from here that has said 6+ since the middle of December. Never gone down, never moved, nothing like that. And plus, Pop Finder is no longer showing G.I. Joes, no longer showing wrestling figures or PS5s. So if anybody's looking, Scott, what did we create?
I still blame G.I. Joe Classified. I'm telling you, that's who did it.
I remember the glory days of BrickSeek back in like 2017. I was like surgical with it, man. I would check every night at like 10:30 and right before I went to bed. And if something hit, I was up at 5 o'clock. And I mean, I had like a streak of like 4 straight elite sets where I was getting all of them. I was like the first person in Hawaii grabbing these sets and stuff. And then it seemed like, I don't know if something happened on the inventory systems or what, but they just cut them off, and it's been garbage ever since then.
Well, they hate us. They hate us collectors.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Do.
Yeah.
That's why Pop Finder removed G.I. Joe's PS5s and wrestling figures.
Insane.
So that rounds out the beginning segment. We do have a little bit of news. Scott, what do you say we jump into it?
Let's talk about it.
Oh, you gonna learn today.
In the news, Zombie Sailor Toys announced that they had signed Kevin Sullivan. Marco, are you excited about this one?
I am excited. Did you guys get to see the little intro video that he did for his signing? He actually did like a video. He did like kind of like a slow reveal. He had his hood on. You can watch the video. I'm not going to repeat word for word what he said, but then he like pulls his hood back and he reveals it's Kevin Sullivan that's actually being signed. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm super excited about it. We've been talking about this Zombie Sailor Toys line on our show, and they're I think it's gonna be something special, especially if the We Want Retros gang that's out there. They're coming. They're just not coming from the place that you normally thought they were going to come from. So
actually, I asked this question to Scott last week, and I'm going to ask you guys get a different opinion. Do you feel that these figures that are coming out from Zombie Sailor Toys, Cella,
Nerds Clothing,
thank you, Scott. Do you guys think that in the future these will be worth something? I'm not going to say a green card Hasbro. I wouldn't go that far, but do you guys think it will be escalate in value in the future?
Yeah, I definitely think they will.
So.
I think because they're less produced than even the Mattel retros. You know what I mean? So there's not as many of them. Just that style of toy, collectors are yearning for it. So I think they're trying to and they're expanding their collections by adding, different promotions other than just WWE and things like that, which I think is really cool. So I think the market's going to go up for these things for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Marco, what do you think?
No, I totally agree. Just to piggyback off of what Sheena said, definitely limited run on these. And not to take anything away from the Hasbros, but like these are way more detailed. They look more lifelike than the counterparts and stuff like that. If you've seen a lot of them out there, a lot of the sketches and a lot of the builds that they have out there, they're going to be definitely something special. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do actually later on in their life cycle.
Yeah. The Kevin Sullivan, I'm on the fence on that one because as Scott and I talked about last week, there are so many players in the game right now. There's so many people in the pool that now it comes down to where are we going to allocate funds?
Yes.
So
I think everybody's kind of bracing to see what the price tag on these things are going to be also.
Exactly.
Totally. Exactly.
Do you guys want to take a guess? Seth, you want to take a guess?
I mean, so they're definitely putting a lot of TLC into them. These things aren't like custom figures. They got Ron Rudat, the original designer from Hasbro, on them. Like in my mind, depending on how good the packaging looks, I'm thinking these things are going to be like by the time shipping everything, I think you're going to be looking at about $40 for one of these figures. That's what I'm thinking with the small batch, and if the quality is going to be what they say they're going to be. That's what I'm picturing. I mean, what are you guys expecting?
We're expecting 30 for the figure, 10 for ship, and so we're in the same ballpark. That's about right.
I wonder what the production numbers are going to be, though. Is it going to, because we talked about this last week too? Are they going to do the pre-orders and then however many pre-orders they get, that's how many they produce, or are they going to have X amount available and you just got to get on the pre-order right away, and when they're gone, they're gone?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't announced that yet, but I don't know.
And they said, I mean, Zombie Sarah, he definitely seems committed to this. He seems like he's really going all in on making this a success. One thing I'm concerned about, we've seen this a lot even with the major toy lines, is that the samples can look awesome. You know, the design looks awesome, but depending on what factory you actually go to produce them, you know, the finished product doesn't always come out looking like the samples that we've seen.
Yeah,
100%.
And, so that's what I'm very excited for these, but I'm trying to kind of, you know, hold back my excitement just a little bit because I don't want to be let down once these end up coming out, because I love all the guys they've revealed so far. Like a Bruiser Brody Hasbro, are you kidding me? That's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, Dynamite Kid too. I can't wait.
Dynamite was...
Oh, the Cella. He's from Cella, huh?
Yeah, he's from Cella. But I mean, I'm still excited for a Dynamite Kid. You know, I've been watching so much.
Awesome.
I've been watching so much old school wrestling and seeing the kind of the formation of the Bulldogs kind of going along. It just brings back so many happy memories and stuff.
Yeah.
And Jay White from Nerds, Jeff. Who knows if they're going to get more NJPW guys under their umbrella? So that'd be even better.
Yeah.
Very, very true. And Junk Shop Dog actually just got not Jay White, Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
But it won't be in Hasbro style.
Yeah, but who knows who else they're going to get too to do more in those Popey style.
Storm Collectibles, Jyushin Thunder Liger, New Japan debut look. I was not expecting this. Scott, what did you think?
Very cool, dude. They're really milking that Jyushin thing, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to ride that thing for everything it's worth. They're like Pro Wrestling Tees with the micro ballers.
They can make their own cryptocurrency out of all the money they've been getting off of Jyushin Thunder. Yeah, get us some Jyushin bucks, man.
No kidding.
I think they've had like 6 or 7 of that original mold that they did, just in different colors, and they all sell out. Like you go on Ringside Collectibles, all of them end up going on back order, and they're $50 a pop. So,
are you guys getting them?
No, I'm not. Just because one big thing for me, I'm a huge snob on scale, and he's just so far out of scale. You know, he's an amazing figure. Don't get me wrong. Like that Jyushin Thunder Liger Storm Collectibles has been putting out. I think he's a Hall of Fame wrestling figure, but I'm just addicted to the Mattel Elite scale, and he's just a little bit too far out of whack. I actually have a really good Jyushin Thunder Liger Custom Elite that I got from Showstopper Custom Figs, and that's kind of like my Jyushin Thunder Liger until further notice, until we get one from Mattel or Jazzwares.
I'm getting that too. I'm definitely purchasing. I have all 3 of the other ones, and this one is definitely a get for me.
You said you got all the other Jyushins?
Yep. I have the original one, the ringside exclusive, both ringside exclusives. The only one I don't have is that I forget the name of the company. It's the blue. It's like the all blue Jyushin that's out there. It's like, I think it's like $400 or $500 on eBay right now.
Holy shit. That's insane.
It's in the same. It's Super 7, but it's just an all blue colored Jyushin, which I'm not gonna probably get anytime soon. But definitely this one, the debut.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
you
getting
were
that
super
one.
excited when they announced that.
Oh my god! Of course, yeah. 1989 Jyushin Tokyo Dome debut. Of course, you gotta get that.
Yeah. So do a Google search. You'll be able to see the mask that Jyushin wore that night, and that's what this figure is going to be.
Are you picking one up, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Are you getting it, Scott?
No, it's a pass for me. I got the original one thanks to you, and I'm calling it good on that.
Was that your birthday gift last year?
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah, one of those.
I wish Galoob had made
Seth
one.
Seth made the crude joke that this was Jyushin before he got horny.
Oh gosh,
that's a dad joke.
It totally is. I love
it. It was
it.
a total dad joke.
There's a pun in there.
Dad joke galore.
Scott, why don't you get into the protos of old San Francisco toy makers?
Yeah, this was a big shocker this week, and it's not the only prototype that we're going to be talking about, but we were shown Renegade and Shark and talking bases for the figures themselves, never produced. That was a big shocker. We had no idea these things existed. They were released in 95, and here we are, how many years later? And oh, by the way, there were more of these that were supposed to come out. And the kicker is, we totally would have bought them because they look amazing.
Would we have purchased Renegade, though?
No doubt about it. We bought them all, dude. We didn't not buy someone just because, whatever. We absolutely bought all of them.
Okay, we should probably preface that we bought all the new ones. We didn't get the repaints.
We did not get repaints, but dude, Shark and Renegade, we absolutely would have purchased those. No doubt about it.
So I'm going to ask the panel, what do you think these prototypes are worth? Marco, I'll start with you.
Oh my God. I would probably, they would have to go up to like almost, I don't want to say the thousands, but definitely close. I'm going to say 700-800 maybe, up in that range.
700,000 or 800,000. Gotcha.
No, yeah, there you go. That's it. That's exactly what I was saying.
With prototypes, I'm thinking this is going to be fetching maybe about 10 to 15 easy.
Does
50.
Somebody have them though?
That's the question. These were just shown in an ad, I believe. I don't know which ad they were in, but
we've got to think
catalog maybe.
Yeah, you got to think with the way pictures are shown now, with the mass hysteria that is wrestling figures, these things would have popped up a long time ago. But here we are all of a sudden, how many years later, and boom, they're just dropped in our lap. I mean, how did we not see pictures of these before?
Because we didn't have the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
Mic drop.
People are spending a lot of time at home too. Maybe they're digging through attics and basements and stuff. And they're like, oh, this looks like it could be cool.
Yeah, good point. So the other one that we were shown, and this was another shocker, Jeff, Remco was going to produce a Colonel De Beers at one point. Rumor has it was supposed to be in a 2-pack with Jimmy Snuka, but because of the character that Colonel De Beers portrayed on TV, now this is just what I read, they didn't go through with the figure. So at one point there was going to be a Colonel De Beers. It looks like he was in the Gagne's Raiders outfits, like the camouflage pants and tops. And it looked like he had a beret on, but we were supposed to get a Colonel De Beers figure at one point, and that would have been great because he would have gotten the crap beat out of him as a kid.
Just thinking right now off the top of my head, would that have been the first time that a wrestler would have gotten a Remco and an LJN, meaning Jimmy Superfly Snuka?
Well, Rick Martel did.
Okay, which one would have hit the shelves first, though?
Oh, the Martel Remco for sure would have come out first.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Martel, the Strike Force Martel didn't come out until like 88, 89, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But the Remco was out in like 85.
Okay. That's a good point. Yes. I don't know if you guys were big Remco fans or big AWA fans, but basically every single figure had the same body. Except Abdullah the Butcher.
The He-Man body.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, so Scott and I would have been all over that.
Oh, no, especially if it came with Snuka. Are you kidding?
Oh, I know, right, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a surprise for the panel over here. I didn't throw this into I didn't throw this into the notes, but in our next segment, we are going to play Points of Articulation.
Nice.
Surprise.
We're familiar.
Jeff, again, you're supposed to run these things by me before we jump on recording.
I know, Scott. You're supposed to give us the heads up on these surprises.
You're skating on thin ice, dude. I might have to start looking for another host for the show.
I used to love that back in the early days of the Foleyposeable podcast when you do like the question of the week and
just
Scott,
hit him out of nowhere.
Scott would always act so aggravated by it, and then I think one episode you asked him, you were like, Scott, why do you get so mad about these? He was like, I don't know, they're usually actually kind of fun.
Pull back the curtain a little bit. I wasn't acting, dude. I was legit mad.
He was actually aggravated.
But then they ended up being fun, so I didn't kill him.
But the funny thing is that I would hit Scott with the secret question and he would look at me, because this is when we were recording together, and he would look at me. He's like, "You son of a bitch," and then he would start answering it, and he's like, "Okay, that was actually kind of fun. That was cool." Scott, we are going to play Points of Articulation. I am going to throw 3 figures out there, and each person from the panel must score the figure 1 to 10, and what you guys thought of it. So, Scott, you ready for the first one?
I can't wait.
All right. Junkyard Dog LJN. Now,
oh my gosh.
You guys must score it 1 to 10. Marco, I'll start with you.
Oh, of course, me 10. It's going to be a 10 for me. I actually just showed that on our Patreon exclusive episode. I don't have it with me now, but showed it on camera. No, that's definitely a 10. Yeah. Too many great memories with that, and it hits close to home, that figure. So that's going to be a 10 for me.
Please explain, what memories do you have with it?
My father, huge JYD fan. My father, he's born in the South, so I pretty much grew up on like Southern wrestling or Mid-South and all that stuff before I actually got into the WWF. So that was one of the things there, and just having it as a child and playing with it, and having him go over as the main event star that he should have been in the WWF. But
agreed.
Yeah, and then recently getting it again from Zorro Mendez, just holding it, and just like it still holds up. Just the build of it, the weight, the feel, it's perfectly articulated. Like I said, it's a 10.
And the rush of memories just keep coming back when you hold it.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
Seth, what do you think?
I gotta agree, man. He's a 10. It's the best Junkyard Dog figure ever. Again, we crowned it as the best black wrestling action figure of all time on our show last week. I think the thing that sets it apart is that when I think Junkyard Dog, I think of kind of like a big burly guy. I feel like all the other JYDs, whether it was the retro, the Mattel Elite they did, I feel like they had him too skinny. You know what I mean? The LJN had the night, they had the thickness that JYD had. Same thing with Marco. LJNs were the first figures I'd play with as a kid. I inherited about 12 of my uncles. Roddy Piper was in there, Don Morocco, the standard Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, and Junkyard Dog was one of them. And so like my first my first memories of playing with wrestling figures was JYD. But this is years before I ever saw a JYD match. You know what I mean? I just knew him as an action figure before I ever knew him as a wrestler. And I just love that figure. I still think like Marco said, whoever was sculpting those LJNs, they did a great job. It holds up, man. I think it's perfect. It's one of the when I hear the word wrestling figure and I start running through, like they start flashing in my mind. He may not be the first one, but he's within the first like 5 or 6 I think of when I start thinking about wrestling figures.
It's a good point you made. That's the way I look at Hulk Hogan. He was an action figure before I knew who he was.
Yep.
And it was because Scott got that Hulk Hogan LJN for Christmas, and I didn't know who it was. I thought the figure was stupid because it didn't move, stuff like that. But Sheena, what would you give it?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. Again, like we talked about this past week, a 10. I love the sculpting, and it's crazy to think about, the technology, how far it's come, and like how good these figures still are with what they were working with,
timeless.
Back in the 80s. Yeah, they're just, exactly. That's the perfect word. They're just timeless. And like you said, I love this JYD build. I love the chain and all the things. So yeah, 10 for me.
And Scott?
I can't give it a 10, Jeff, because you lambaste me every time I try to give something a high 9 or a 10. Jeff's like, well, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. But it's about as close to a 10 as you can get. It, like you guys said, the build on it was great. And the best part is, Marco, you mentioned WWF never made him a champion, but as a kid, I thought he was incredible. And he was always a champion in my federations, whether it was tag, IC, heavyweight. I had the power to make those cards, and JYD was always a title holder. I loved him as a kid, and I felt he deserved more in the WWF than what he was given. I was hoping he'd get it in WCW when he jumped over there. It didn't happen. But the figure itself, you guys totally nailed it. It captures everything that was great about the Junkyard Dog. The hair, the body type, the chain, the collar. The best part was the pose, because you could catch somebody in his signature power slam, game over. Yep. And that was the bad thing about the LJNs, is if they weren't in a good wrestling pose, there wasn't much that you could do with them in the ring, but they put Junkyard Dog in the perfect pose to catch somebody in his finishing move, and I loved it. Used it all the time. Jeff, 9.8.
Oh, 9.8.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Now, if I have one small gripe, I wish they would have done a variant in his light blue gear.
Oh, that would have been cool.
But,
Yeah, that
and
would
I
be
have
awesome.
seen customs. They look great, but the red was acceptable.
And it came with 2 different chain colors. There was the silver and there was the red.
And the red, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I will give it, I won't go as high as you guys. I love the figure. I'm going to give it an 8.6.
Wow.
I love
8.6. Jeez.
I'm very stingent.
He is a tough critic.
But one thing that, Scott, you left out, JYD would do that running headbutt. Or I shouldn't say running headbutt, that scooting
It's like
headbutt.
a crawling
Oh, yes.
headbutt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're right.
You could do that with the LJN.
Yeah.
So you would knock down, let's say, Cowboy Bob Orton. JYD would just do the headbutt. So
Okay, so then you could do 2 of his moves, and you still put him in the 8s.
Yep,
Yeah.
8.6.
Man, you're kind of a jerk in this game.
A little bit. Next figure, and Sheena, I'm going to do this one for you.
Oh, okay.
Bret Hart in all pink ringside exclusive.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Bret Hart figure.
I got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, with first of all, I just love this look. All pink, everything, paint splatter. I am here for the paint splatter. It was a ringside exclusive, which was super cool. We did like the glasses. I wish they would have been metallic. That's one little gripe that I have. I wish they would have been metallic glasses.
Mattel's never nailed Brett's glasses the way Jax did. That's
Yeah.
one
Correct.
thing Jax definitely did better
Yes.
than
Agree.
Mattel.
Yeah, so we actually got I can't remember where we got them, but we got these little decals to go on our Brett's glasses so that they have the holographic look to them, like so they're, metallic. But yeah, I'm giving that figure a 10 because it's only slightly above the Defining Moments as my all-time favorite Brett figure. I love the Defining Moments, but yeah, that ringside exclusive Bret Hart it has my heart.
I knew you were going to give it 10.
Thanks for lobbing me a softball.
Oh yeah, anytime.
So I'll heal off on it. I'm giving that figure I'm gonna give it a 7.5. All right, it's still
What?
perfectly executed. MOC, it's incredible.
The box was awesome.
Out of
on
the
that.
box, the jacket they did is awesome. They do a lot of detail on it. Here's my problems with it though. One, no elbow pads.
Okay.
How many times did you guys see Bret Hart wrestle with no elbow pads?
Never.
But they couldn't do any elbow pads because it's the Polly Pocket style jacket. And back then, Mattel they didn't. I think if we got that figure nowadays, it would probably have some elbow pads in the box, and you just have to slide them on yourself when you took them off. No elbow pads, and then they gave him the giant bulky knee pads. Brett never wore those knee pads. They gave him the knee pads that are like the giant sleeves. So we actually, for our figure, we heated him up. We pulled the boots off, and we actually took the knee pads off. That figure looks $1 million better with no knee pads. He still works, but as a Brett figure. But yeah, for the no elbow pads and the crappy knee pads, I take it down to 7.5.
You guys are so ballsy, just heating up stuff and.
I knew. I like saw Jeff's face twitch. When he said, "Yeah, we heated him up." I saw you like.
I'm picturing Seth just taking a heat gun to this thing, and I'm like, this poor figure.
He's got a blowtorch.
What we do, we get it. So it's a really,
All right, buckle up,
it's
Jeff,
very
buckle up.
precise. We get a mug, and I always used to say mug. I got an old school WWF coffee mug from 1993. It's got Hulk Hogan on one side, Bret Hart on the other. Fill it with water. I microwave it for like 40 seconds, and then they get dipped in there. I use chopsticks so I don't burn my fingers, and I dip the figure in the water for about 35 seconds, and then pull them out and pop the pieces right off.
Wow.
Is there a way to mute Seth right now? They're just killing me.
I know. I feel like this is like Jeff and Scott's version of like watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something.
Exactly.
But worse, Sheena.
Worse.
Marco, how about you? What do you give it?
I'm gonna rate it a little bit better than Seth. I'm gonna go 8 for the Bret Hart. I do agree with his take on the pads all around, so the knee pads as well as no elbow pads. The jacket is awesome. I love it. I mean, especially out of the box, it looks great. The back with the 4 stars on the back, obviously for his children.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was the only thing. I wish it was definitely like a cloth type of jacket because the tassels would have looked like pretty cool on the shoulder pads and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got a custom cloth jacket for ours.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys actually posted pictures of that. That's right. Yeah, so maybe that's why I'm like actually thinking of that subconsciously. Like I said, 8. It's definitely a great Bret Hart figure. We can go on and on about the shades. The shades are never
right.
Mattel's strong point anyway. So, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a strong 8.
Okay, and
I'm okay with that.
And Scott,
I'm gonna go 8.6 on it because I'm an MOC guy. and it looked so good on the card.
Yeah,
It
MOC,
does look good.
it's awesome.
Yes, I'm going 8.6 on that one. They really captured Brett well. It's actually a lot better than that King of the Ring figure that they did. So this one gets really high marks in my book, 8.6.
Yeah, the box is so bright too. Like for you guys who keep it MOC, like it's just it really pops with all that pink on there.
It does.
It looks stunning.
Going 8.9 over here.
Of course.
Whoa, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's a really good figure. Is it the best Mattel has done? Debatable, questionable, but
Are you saying best Brett Mattel has done, or
yes?
Okay.
I think the defining moments was a little bit better. I still think that's their best Brett.
Well, see, that one's up there just because of the outfit they put him in and the jacket. It's up.
Yeah.
It's up there. But as far as, for my opinion, the best Brett face sculpt is what was that basic? It was a SummerSlam.
It was a
basic.
SummerSlam basic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
We tried to swap
I
it.
tried to do a head swap with that onto the Ultimate Edition Brett, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I agree. That is the best head
we
sculpt they've done.
we pulled the head off of that one. we dunked him in the water and heated him up and popped his head off.
Oh, the horror
my
stories I'm
God.
hearing
It's
here.
like,
You know what else was a good Brett head sculpt was the old man Brett that they did for the best pay-per-views. Do you guys remember that one?
Yes.
The older
Yes.
Brett?
Yes, it was that was another SummerSlam one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was from
Yeah.
SummerSlam 2010. Even though, I think that's not anybody's favorite, era of Brett, but they really did do a good job of old man Brett. I don't know why they've never been able to capture the younger version of him.
They did an excellent job capturing that era of Brett, the 2010 look of Brett.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, last figure. Since this man is always in the news, especially from Jazzwares, let's do Cody Rhodes Stardust with 2 tag titles.
So I'm on record as being, I'm not a Cody fan at all. All right. I've said before, the most interesting Cody's ever been to me is when he was Stardust, and Mattel knocked that Elite 36 Stardust figure out of the freaking park. I think I'm going to go, I'll go 9.5, and I'm taking off half a point just because it didn't have his entrance gear. If he had his entrance gear, that'd be a perfect 10. I love that figure.
That's a good point. Yeah, I remember you not being the biggest fan of Cody.
That wasn't a joke suggestion, Jeff? You're really going with that one?
Yeah, I was actually going. Oh, do you want me to choose another one off the top of my head?
I thought you were just messing with us, dude.
No, dude, I was actually going with that one.
You gotta let Marco go next in contrast because he's a Cody lover,
All right, yeah, Marco.
So I'm gonna go. We'll go 9 on this one, because I do love the 2 tag team titles that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
The head sculpt's it captures the kind of he kind of looks like he's doing the hissing that he used to do when he used to do the. So I like that. That's probably one of my favorite things about the figure. They captured that, but I'm going to piggyback off of what Seth said. It probably is. I joke around on the show and say, all these Cody figures that are coming out are like the best thing that's coming, and I want more Cody figures and stuff like that. But well, I'll definitely go on record and say this one's probably like the best Cody figure to date.
If I could only keep one Cody, I wouldn't even think about it. But yeah, Stardust done.
And Sheena.
Yeah, I love this Stardust figure again. Like I think the paint apps are awesome. The black and the blue and the silver really pop. I love the black strap on the tag titles.
Yes.
I haven't really loved the tag titles since they changed them to blue and red. I just feel like it's just, I get brand supremacy and brand identity and all of that kind of stuff, but I just feel like it's super corny just to like make something red simply because it's on Raw and something blue simply because it's on SmackDown and kind of pigeonholing yourself in that way. So I do like that black strap. And Goldust and Stardust, their face paint always just looks spectacular. I just think it's always very striking, and I love this figure. So I'm going to give this figure an 8.5.
8.5. And Scott?
Yeah.
I'm right there with Sheena. I'm going to give it an 8.8, and it'd probably go up a couple marks if, like Seth said, it had the entrance gear, but it's an outstanding figure. 2 belts. They totally captured Stardust perfectly.
I'm going to agree with you. 8.5 as well. Marco brought up an excellent point. He had that kind of hissing, that look. And Scott and I are always proponents for, most of the time, figures having expressions on the face.
Unless
because
it brings them to life.
It adds character to the figure. I'll give you an example. The Jimmy Hart Hall of Fame figure.
Yeah.
He's got that like oh baby, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's ready to shout into the megaphone.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually true. So I'll go 8.5 as well. So I just wanted to spring that on you guys. I thought you guys would have fun with that one. So
No, love
definitely.
it.
That
That was great.
So that rounds out points of articulation. Last segment, we are going to go into nostalgia. Scott, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go back.
We're going back in time for nostalgia. We're going back in time nostalgia.
Scott, we are going to jump into WWE Elite Series 5. What you got?
Yes, sir. WWE Elite Series 5. First up, Rey Mysterio. And he was in his silver and gold gear with a mask and blue t-shirt accessory. Next up, the great Chavo Guerrero in his black gear with a black soft goods t-shirt and a black bandana accessory. And next up, I had actually forgot this guy worked in WWE, Kozlov. And he was in his red gear with a
Vladimir.
red jacket or gi accessory. Dolph Ziggler in black gear with leopard gloves, and he came with a vest accessory. Next up, Mark Henry, and he was in his red gear with a bar and weights accessory set. And last up in the set, Jack Swagger in his blue soft goods singlet, and underneath he had a black singlet. And that rounds out Mattel WWE Elite Series 5.
So I don't know about you guys, but Mark Henry saved this series.
Really? You didn't like the
Because-
Mysterio?
Yeah.
I didn't, dude. I
like the Chavo,
The
man.
Chavo is okay.
You guys like
Yeah,
the Chavo?
Chavo.
Yeah, it's actually I have that figure, so it's actually more of like a poncho also.
Yeah.
That the shirt that
It's
comes with
open
it.
on the sides.
Yeah, it fits
Yeah.
really big and loose like a poncho style. But yeah, I do agree that Mark Henry is definitely probably my favorite figure out of this set.
I don't know. It just felt like the figures were outside of the Mark Henry. Just felt lackluster.
Like
I don't
not
know.
enough
Very generic.
accessories? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually a good point. I think it might have been not enough accessories.
Okay.
We talked about this beautiful Series 4 last time with the cane, with the shackles.
Oh,
and,
so good.
Oh yeah.
And the John Morrison that was in that set. And then we went to this. And it was like, all right.
For me, it's that, 3 of the 5, or 6, have just black gear, plain black gear, not a lot of color to it. And then you got, Vladimir that's just got solid red,
Yeah.
And then
Mark
and
Henry.
Mark Henry's got
they kind
solid
of just
red.
blend in with the packaging.
Yeah, it's just exactly. They blend in with the packaging because the packaging is black and red. So none of these except for Ray really stand out. And I mean, and the Ray's cool, but I mean, he's just like every other Ray.
The thing this set's got going for it though is that Vladimir and Chavo, this is the only time they actually even got figures from
True.
Mattel in the Elite line.
Yeah.
So it's got
Yep.
two,
Yeah.
one-timers in here. But yeah, aside from that, I think Mark Henry's. I think that's probably that and the Nation Mark Henry are my two favorite Mark Henry Elites out of all the ones that they've done.
Now, you guys were collecting at this time because I remember you telling me, Seth, that you kind of fell out of wrestling for a bit and then you got into it. When did you come back in?
So we came back in like 2014. So this was actually before my time, but I actually went back and I picked up this entire set because at one point I was just a true like certifiable madman that I wanted to have every single figure that Mattel has made.
Completionist.
Yeah, like literally all of them. I still think I have like 25 Alexa Blisses for some reason. But when we moved from Hawaii to Virginia back to the East Coast, I kind of took that time to kind of reevaluate my overall collecting philosophy, and I decided I was going to downsize and really just get the figures that were like special to me or first time in the line kind of guys, stuff like that. And
But we still have one of every character that has ever been portrayed.
Yeah, we do still. Yeah,
you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have like 900 figures in our collection. But I sold the Jack Swagger, the Rey Mysterio, and the Dolph from this set. I sold those 3. So the only ones that were out of this set that were keepers for me was Kozlov, Chavo, and then the Mark Henry. Which again, Chavo and Kozlov, they were no brainers because they're the only ones that they've had in the line. And that Mark Henry. You really got to see this figure in person. Like, yeah, he's in a red singlet, but I don't know what kind of paint or whatever they use. Like, he really pops. Like, he jumps out to you when you see that figure. He's so bright and everything.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but have you noticed they have always captured Mark Henry? Like, there is not one bad Mark Henry figure.
Oh, yeah.
He looks amazing, yeah.
Yeah, whether it's Sexual Chocolate or World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
That'd be. I still think Mattel needs to do Mark Henry with the salmon suit, from when he faked his retirement.
That was so
such an
great.
awesome
So good.
moment.
Iconic.
Yeah, maybe we can get that in the Legends line.
I still think we need a Mae Young Mark Henry 2-pack.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah, well, we've already had all the extra hands, you know, so you can already kind of recreate that moment with all the extra hands Mattel's got now.
Yeah. Now we have a use for all the extra hands.
Yeah, they can have a family with all those extra hands.
Marco, were you collecting at this time?
I was not collecting at this time. I actually kind of like Seth went back and grabbed these, but I do remember the Chavo actually had like a design on it, right? Did it have like a kind of like a phoenix design on the poncho?
Yeah, it's got a phoenix design on the poncho, and then he's got like pinkish, blue, and like orange looking paint apps like all down the side of the tights.
The bandana comes off too. The bandana he's got on comes off also.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Mark Henry was probably my favorite out of that set, but I do love the Chavo. For some reason, I always had a soft spot for Chavo Guerrero. Even in WCW, he's probably one of my sleeper favorite wrestlers. But yeah, when you definitely got this figure, I definitely had to have it. It's Chavo. It's a Guerrero family. What else could you want? But yeah, I'm on board with Seth with that one with those picks out of that line. The line wasn't the greatest of elite lines, but I mean, we're gonna get plenty of Rays that look exactly like that with that mask,
right?
Yeah,
that extra mask that comes with it, and obviously looking back now.
I think that's one of Dolph's worst figures. Also, that vest that came with him was made of like it reminded Jeff and Scott. I know you guys are like real old school collectors. You guys remember the Jack's Heart Foundation set? Those vests that came, the sleeveless vests that came with them. It was like the same material.
Yep,
that's what they used for Dolph's vest. And Mattel's really never done that too often. So I'm thinking maybe this is early in the line. Maybe they were still kind of just experimenting with different materials that they wanted to use for the accessories. Yeah, because I can't remember another time that they've used that like flimsy PVC type stuff for the vest. But yeah, that thing was straight garbage.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Scott, what did you think of this series?
It was okay. You're right. It was definitely a step down from Series 4. Best out of the set, I'm going to say Chavo Mark Henry. But it gets better, right? I mean, Series 5 wasn't great, but they definitely picked it up.
Yeah, we've got quite a few more series to go. I think we got 80 more. So
something like that, roughly.
They do get better. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
So on eBay, there were 4 Rey Mysterios on eBay, ranging from $85 to $139. Remind you, this is not shipped. These are just regular prices. Chavo Guerrero.
Was that MOC?
Yes, MOC.
Yeah, because I got 105 for my Ray when I sold it loose. So that thing that was about a year and change ago. So he's actually dropping in value a little bit at this point.
Oh man, $105 for it?
$105 loose. I got this. Again, this was like back in like November 2019. So
so this was
I don't know if he was getting pushed in or what.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Pre-COVID. Yeah, because
he just wasn't out for a while there. Like I think, the COVID, the effect it's had on collecting. I think there's actually a little bit more of this stuff available now. Whereas back a year and a half, 2 years ago, those like the single digit Elite series, like 1 through 9, they just were not showing up very often. So if you had something from those series that you could sell, you get a pretty decent price.
And
for
Ray was having a pretty good run back in the fall to December. He got his eye popped out.
Yep.
He was having a lot of TV time back then, so people were really high on Ray back then.
Chavo Guerrero, 0 on eBay. Kozlov, there was only 1. It was $130, and for some reason, I don't know, don't ask me, I did put $10 shipping on that one. Don't know why I did that. Dolph Ziggler, 4 on eBay, ranging from $73 to $100.
That's crazy that figure's actually going for that much.
You know what's funny is I keep looking on eBay to see if there's that one needle haystack type deal, and I never do come across it, so I just give up.
Yeah, people are much more educated now. They know what they got, and they know how. If they don't know what they got, they know how to figure it out. Before they just throw something up. But when I was first getting back into collecting, I had a few steals. Like I found some older figures that I got for like $15, and then I'd look and see like other sold listings were going for like 70 plus. So you're right, that is dying out. Those finding those stray deals like that.
Well, every once in a while you could go onto Macari and you would be able to find something, but that's now a long lost cause as well. Yeah. Mark Henry, 2 on eBay, ranging from $140 to 2 on eBay. Okay, so one was $140 and the other was $110, $19.71 shipping. And Jack Swagger, 0 on eBay.
That Mark Henry, we picked ours up at a Hawaii Comic-Con MOC. This was in, I think, 2017. It was like $35, man. So, yeah,
that's a steal.
That would have been a pretty solid investment if I hadn't, ripped that thing open as soon as I got home.
Why'd you do that? I'm about to mute you guys.
I'm gonna start just videotaping all of them and just sending them to you, Jeff. I'm not even gonna open them. Most of the time, I'll open them with my pocket knife, do it nice and carefully. But I'm turning into them from now on, man.
No,
It's like a figure
we're gonna go live and mention you guys on Instagram whenever we do our next water torture. You know?
I'm muting everybody. So that rounds out the show. Guys, I want to thank you for having you on. This was a lot of fun. I definitely thank you. Seth and Sheena, I do have one quick question for you because you asked Celeste and I this question, but I do want to ask you guys. You guys have been together for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Going on 18 years.
18 years. Were you guys wrestling fans before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think Sheena was always a fan. I was like a fanatic growing up.
I've got to ask, were you guys collecting figures at that 18-year mark?
No, I was a little bit out of the game. So I collected from the time I was like 4 or 5 years old up until probably about like 15 or 16.
Okay.
And then it went away for a while. You know, I still always kept up with it. Like I would anytime, you know, it was even me and Sheena when we first started dating. Like if we were like at Target or something like that, I'd be like, hey, let's go to the toy section. So I would always still go and just browse. And I remember like the first time seeing classic superstars there come out, like, dude, these are so cool. But I just, you know, I wasn't really, my fandom wasn't really at that point, and I wasn't really financially in a position where I could like, you know, just blow $80 on buying out the pegs at Walmart at that time. So yeah, I definitely took a solid 10-year break from collecting figures. So now I wasn't collecting figures at the time, but we were always into it. And Sheena's always been a big collector. She kind of got us dipping a toe back in the water. She got really big into Pops about a year before I got back into wrestling figures.
Yeah, and it was before Pops really hit the scene too. It was like
Sheena was on the Pop bandwagon before it was really even a thing.
Yeah, and you know, I grew up as just a wrestling fan, so you know, and I grew up around all boys, so I was like the only girl, and you know, all boy cousins, and you know, my brother and everything. And so like wrestling was just part of, you know, our life. And they always had wrestling toys. So I wasn't actually a collector as a kid. But then when we got back into it in 2014, we kind of just like, it was just the natural progression. Like, okay, cool. Like we're both collectors of things.
Right.
We both are back into wrestling. So let's make this wrestling collection happen. So that's kind of how it all started.
That's
and you've
awesome.
seen how it's rapidly progressed.
I'm kind of looking at the fireplace behind you, and I noticed that there's some nice little plants and stuff. Maybe you move those to the side and put wrestling figures up there.
I know.
Yeah.
Just
Listen.
That's how I decorate. I don't want to speak for you guys.
Back in our Hawaii home, so you know, I have like a certain aesthetic. I have a very boho, very natural, like home aesthetic. You know, very hippy dippy and all that. And back when we lived in Hawaii, Seth would like sneak and put toys. You know, I have everything very clean looking, and he would like all of a sudden he just like
some action figures just added in. You see like Elite 31 Vader just mixed in next to some like, you know, art pieces and stuff.
Yeah, I would come home and I would just like see. He wouldn't even tell me. He would just like on the entertainment center. He would have like, you know, a row of like wrestling pops lined up, and then I would look up in my plants and there's like a Vader Elite. I'm like, what the heck is happening? You know, he's like, I think it really adds to the aesthetic. They're conversation pieces.
So Marco, I've got to ask you as well. You being married, how did you introduce figures into your budget, or you know, introducing figures to your wife?
Well, so luckily, my wife used to watch wrestling. She doesn't watch as much now because she works nights. But back in the Attitude Era days, she met Mick Foley, all that stuff. She actually, we were talking about it actually last night. She used to dress like The Rock in high school. She used to wear like the track pants with The Rock. The blue Brahma Bull T-shirt and stuff like that, and she was like, yeah, yep, that's your wife. That's what I used to dress like when I was in high school and stuff like that. But I mean, it was gradual. Like my thing is, I wasn't really collecting figures as much. I was more like memorabilia type stuff and just like things here and there. So like when I would go to like WrestleManias or any type of like pay-per-views and stuff like that, I would like pick up stuff here and there, like that type of stuff. So she knew about that. As far as the figures, I started picking that back up like a few years, maybe actually, how long ago was that? Maybe around the time I started actually following Chick Foley. She like pretty much got me back into it. So I had all my original figures and stuff like that. A lot of them were lost over time,
right?
But I still kept in contact with like with figure collecting, but not as much as I was obviously when I was younger. And same thing with Seth, like you have to have the money to do that. So,
yeah,
you know, obviously you have to like become an adult before you can dive deep into that stuff.
Once your parents stop paying for the figures, it really creates a gap in
Yeah.
your collection.
My father used to like every week he'd get paid weekly, so like every like weekend he would bring us to like the toy store and we'd pick out whatever toy we wanted. So like I had like a wide range of toy, not just action figures, Transformers, He-Man. If anyone remembers, there was a cartoon called Cops.
Oh yeah,
where like these different cops had different like different attributes and stuff like that. So like just collecting all those, and then the wrestling figures really came in. Like I said, like maybe like around the time I started following the Chick Foley Instagram page. So just seeing the figure photography and stuff like that, I'm like man, I gotta get back into this. So just I didn't dive deep into it. I didn't like go head first. I obviously you want to put your toe in first. It's always been a passion. I've always been a collector. I've collected comic books and all that stuff. I still have a lot of my comic books still and things like that. So I'm always going to be a collector. That's not going to stop anytime soon.
I talked to somebody about that a while back. I was like, you either have the collecting gene or you don't, because even before I started collecting wrestling figures, like I was always a collector of things, like even like McDonald's toys. I had to have them all, I mean, I ate probably 8,000 like Happy Meals in my childhood, just to get all the toys. So it's like just something you have within you, which you're like, oh man, I can't just have one.
Yep.
You gotta keep on acquiring. They also call that hoarding, but
the addiction is real.
Collecting is hoarding with organization.
Yes, that's right.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that the collecting gene. Celeste even mentioned, she goes, look, you have 4 or 5 of these figures. Why don't we sell a few off? And I'm like, oh, no, I've got to collect them. I got to hold on to them. I got to keep these. I don't know what you mean by selling these things off. Why would I do such a thing?
Careful, she'll call hoarders, dude.
they're gonna have an intervention one day. You're just gonna come home and then like there's gonna be people sitting on your sofa like, Jeff, we all really love you,
and a bunch of collectors waiting outside with cash.
Exactly.
Oh my god, yes.
Celeste just found a group on eBay and just said, hey, come to this house in Alameda. But again, I want to thank you guys for being on. It means a lot, and it was fun being on your show as well. Scott, you need to go over there.
Yes, for sure.
Scott big time this, man. Scott was holding out, dude. We tried to talk to his agent, and he said no. He said he's not getting out of bed for any less than $20,000. So that's why Scott did not appear on the Chick Foley Show. So yeah, one of these days we're gonna get him on board. But yeah, he was not showing up. He wanted his, he had a Taco Bell on demand, 5 different varieties of Bang, and $20K just to show up. So we were stuck with Jeff and Celeste, but we still had fun though.
It had a lot of fun. He actually wanted Baja Blast with real sugar, like the the Mexican Coke that you find with the real sugar. Scott wanted Baja Blast with real sugar.
Baja Blast from the Baja Peninsula.
No corn syrup. No corn syrup.
Let's just say I'll take a rain check. It will happen.
We're down. You guys are always welcome.
By the way, Seth said he wants to party with Squat.
Oh, okay.
He did say that.
It's a date.
He did.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Next WrestleMania. We got to throw down.
I'm down.
We might actually get to meet you guys in Dallas,
Yeah.
That sounds great. I can't wait.
Scott, you are going to Dallas, right?
Yeah, Shannon's going to force me to go again, just like Tampa. So I'll just play along and be like, okay, fine, I'll go. But I'll be there.
Twist my arm.
We just have to make sure that we have the vaccines. That's numero uno. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I still laugh about when you guys were talking about it last time when Scott was like, yeah, we can all get together and, we'll all compare our effects from the vaccine.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to you?
Oh, dude, my arm was dead for 3 days.
I had to chill something fierce.
Oh my god.
Well, we want everybody to check out Wrestling Toy Tracker. Over there you can find the loose and carded prices of Gloobs, LJNs, Hasbros, Just Toys, Bendems, Defining Moments, Retros, and other. And also check out their shirts on whatamaneuver.net. So again, WrestlingToyTracker.com. Scott, Eagle Moss.
Yes, guys, if you have a pop culture or WWE fan in your life and you're looking for a gift for that certain someone, look no further than Eagle Moss. They've got a ton of great properties under their umbrella, from Batman to Star Trek to Battlestar Galactica, and of course, WWE. They've got a ton of legends and current superstars. Go check them out on Twitter at HeroCollector_.
And since we have a guest in, I will have you guys read your plugs one more time.
All right, guys. That's all right. You can find us, me on Instagram at Chick Foley. Marco is graciously running the Twitter machine for me over at Chick Foley Show.
I'm so
Thanks
sorry.
again for Marco.
I am so sorry.
Thank you, Marco. And you can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. And you can go, if you go to the Instagram, you can just click the link in the bio and it'll take you to, wherever you can listen to us.
Absolutely. And you can listen to when Celeste and I were on. And that was, as I said, that was a lot of fun. Thank you for having us on.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome anytime.
Also, Breaker and Bane, Power Hour, check them out. Or you can also check out Breaker's side project. You know it's fake, right? Wait, everybody knows the gimmick, right? Just making sure. I don't want to spoil anything.
Wait, what?
What?
What? No, wait. Me and Sheena are full.
I have a lot of explaining. I have a lot of explaining to you guys after the show.
Wow.
Also, check out our buddies Doing the Favor. Check out their website, doingthefavor.com, as well, where you can find the SKUs and UPCs that will not link up to Pop Finder because Pop Finder turned heel on us.
They don't like us anymore.
Yeah.
They hate us. By the way, have you guys seen the line for cards now?
No.
Oh my God! Yeah,
You
insane.
saw that, Marco?
Yeah, so I went to one of my local Targets because they actually just got the new WWE Topps Chrome cards in. Like they had packs of them. So I was like, oh, I'll come back like the next day and, grab them up. Went back the next day, nothing. Like everything was gone. They had that sign that says basically you can only buy like one, two a person and all that stuff. I'm like, what the hell happened overnight? Like
we're looking at it as an investment, man.
Yeah.
Insane.
But see, that's the thing is we went through that card trading era of the late 80s.
Same.
Is it going to be the same?
The bottom fell out, bro. I'm talking anybody that – so I was big into NBA. Pretty much anybody from 89 to like 1995, I got their rookie cards across all brands. I got the Fleer Ultra, Topps, Upper Deck, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember those things just going up, up, up. As like a 12-year-old Seth was like, okay, I got my retirement fund here in this binder. And then around like 97, 98, it's like the bottom just dropped out, And there's a handful of those sets that still hold value, but like all my Shaquille O'Neal rookie cards, they're worth like, even graded out, they're worth like maybe $25,
That's it.
It's crazy. Yeah, all the early '90s NBA because they had flooded the market with too many different sets and stuff, and they were just so mass produced that they're just there's just so many of them in circulation. They're not worth anything.
But you got to wonder, is it going to go up now that the boom has hit again?
I've been tracking because I was looking at that because I still have a pretty solid stash of them at my parents' house in Kentucky. And that era is dead. It's really the 80s, man. Like the stuff from the early 2000s is up because I think at that time a lot of the card companies had kind of taken a step back, so there was less stuff being produced. So the stuff from the early 2000s is really going up right now, like like the early Kobe cards and a lot of like the Dirk stuff, those guys, and then the stuff from the 80s is obviously going through the roof. That 86, 87 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card,
oh my goodness,
is just your grandkids are set for life if you somehow got one of those sitting around that's in good condition.
So do you think that the Jordan documentary is what sparked all this? Because I remember seeing on eBay his card was going for whatever it was, but then after the documentary it skyrocketed. Now all of a sudden sports cards have boomed again.
Yeah, I think it did because so that documentary, it came along right when quarantine was really happening. Yes. So I think it kind of captured the nation's imagination. And you got to remember for obviously for people our age, Michael Jordan's a god. He always will be. But I think for people maybe 12 to 13 years younger than us, Michael Jordan had become the guy from the crying meme. You know what I mean? I think he was more known for that than his play. And you hear so many people talking about how LeBron was the best ever and stuff. And I think that documentary just kind of really educated people to just what a real force of nature that MJ was at his peak. And he's always been cool. You know what I mean? Like MJ, he still holds up. Like you see the stuff he did in the 80s and 90s. He was the coolest, man. Like he had just that energy about him. And I think it kind of reinvigorated the Michael Jordan market. And so that's why his stuff's just going sky high right now.
He's incredible. I've always said about Jordan, nobody has ever been as good at their job as Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I actually have so the Jordans that he wore in Space Jam. So I used to be a big sneaker collector. Those have re-released like 3 or 4 times. I have one of the OG releases from 2000. So it's a pair of sneakers from the year 2000 that I've worn a ton. Like these things are beat. I've had to re-glue the sole onto these things. That's how much I've worn these over the years. I've kept them for sentimental value, but I finally threw them on eBay and I was like, maybe I'll get like $40 on them. They're up to $148 right now, and there's like 25 watchers on the auction with a day to go. So I'm thinking these things are probably going to go up here in the next 24 hours too. So the MJ market is hot right now.
Man, crazy.
Scott, where are your Jordans?
Oh my goodness! In a landfill somewhere next to a bunch of Atari ET cartridges.
The ET cartridges. Also, I think the sports cards market may have just kind of figured out some things, maybe pulling one of ones instead of mass producing like Ken Griffey Jr.'s and Jordans and stuff like that. But we're not experts on those, kind of. We'll proclaim ourselves as experts just for this show.
For today.
Yeah, just for today. Only today. Also, I want you to check out Positively Pro Wrestling Podcast. Wrestling Cheers. Justin Summers, we'll get to your question next week. RJ over at Ringside Rant, Boot to the Face with Rucker and Marty. Oh, it cuts off. Yeah.
You ran out of script? Uh-oh.
I ran out of script. I'm going to have to do this off of memory. You can check us out on Lucha Libre Figures and Facts. Myself, Eric Arana of Boss Fight Studio, and Roy Lucier discuss all things Lucha Libre figures. And Scott, you just recorded Valentine's Day Drunk Wrestling History.
We did. We're moving on. That was already released. That's old news now, Jeff.
Oh, what happened on that show, Scott?
Nothing. I am here to talk about the next episode that recently dropped. We are talking about Marty the Party Jannetty, a fellow drinker. And you can follow us on Twitter at wrestling_drunk. Drunk Wrestling History, where we're not always accurate, but we're always drunk and not talking about the Valentine's Day episode, Jeff. Moving on.
But I just listened to it. What part do you want to move on from? I thought it was really good.
Last year was not a shining moment for me. I'm just going to be completely honest. This year, I think I did much better, and Ed actually really carried the drunken portion of the show. Like, he was the village idiot on this show where I was last year.
Scott, are you guys usually drinking cocktails or beer? Or are you guys mix it up? What are you guys usually drinking when you record this show?
Yeah, we mix it up. Sometimes it's beer. My drink lately has been blackened whiskey from Metallica and water. But you know,
okay.
And then sometimes when we record together, which hasn't been much because of COVID, Ed actually has become kind of a mixologist. So I'm kind of calling him Sam Malone for those Cheers fans out there that picked that one up. And so he's been making cocktails, like he names them after wrestlers. He's got a green mist, for example. But yeah, sometimes it's just a mixed bag, really. It's mixed drinks, it's beer, it's kind of whatever's there. Sometimes it's a shot.
Oh, by the way, Marty Jannetty, he is now doing cameos if you want to do one for your show.
Oh, dude.
Gosh.
Oh, Lord.
If he had come in before Sandman, we probably would have gotten Marty. But I'm going to have to let Eddie know that Marty's doing it because that'll be our filler for next year.
That's actually a good idea.
I'm going to, like, right when we're done, I'm texting Eddie.
Also, check out Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling, and every single day, Ryan Buds does trivia with Bud. Scott, roll call.
Yes, guys, the incredible Jason Wolf. You've got to give him a follow across all of his social media at The Art of Jason Wolf. From artwork to custom Hasbros, you got to check him out. Stay on top of his social media for updates on when new figures are coming out. If you're hearing my words now, you've already missed out on his custom Vader. Sucks to be you. Jump on his social media at Art of Jason Wolf. Also, Jeff, pulling up a chair with our buddy Tim. He just had Figure Kingdom on. Great conversation. You got to check it out. Again, pulling up a chair with our good friend Tim. Subscribe to his podcast. You will not be disappointed. And Jeff, that rounds out roll call.
Seth, Sheena, Marco, thank you guys. Thank you again.
No, thank you guys for having us. It's an honor to be here. Like we said, we were listeners from day one-ish, and it really means a lot that you guys had us on.
Well, we thank you. And so, Dallas, is it confirmed? I'm Marco. I know you're going to be there. Seth, Sheena?
Oh, yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I already told the wife's coming too. Yeah, she's on board. She's coming with me. I'm dragging her with me if I have to.
Yeah.
Bound and gagged.
Yeah, we're gonna we'll squat it up all weekend long.
So you guys are like 70% sure?
Yeah, Dave Meltzer's reporting that that's the plan right now, but as you know, plans can change.
Cards have changed.
Yeah, we got the Meltzer asterisk next to it, but yeah, we definitely need to get one because 33 is the last one we've been to, so we'll be going on 5 years with no manias by the time next year rolls around, and that's far too long.
You guys are due.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is where we met you in Orlando.
Yes.
33.
Not Dallas in 32.
Not Dallas. No, it was Orlando.
Jeff has created this alternate history where not only were we at WrestleMania 32, we somehow also met them, which I think that would have Did you guys start the podcast before 32?
Yeah, we did. It was
okay.
4 months
okay.
prior.
So it was in the early stage. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But again, thank you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys again, too. And
it'll be awesome.
And the youngins, of course.
If we're coming to WrestleMania, we're leaving the youngins with
yeah, no kids.
Oh, all right.
We'll FaceTime them in for you guys. And you can say hello. But yeah, we're having adult time.
Brett has grown up since the last time we've seen him.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, big time.
He is. He's already starting to play with wrestling figures, though, dude. So he's drawn to the pops. That's what he likes. He loves to get the toy ring, but if I got like a pile of different figures out, he loves the pops and the Hasbros. I don't know if the Mattels and AEWs have too much articulation for him, but he's always wanting to grab, some Hasbros that are worth a ton of money and just bang the hell out of them. I'm like, no, buddy, let's, grab a couple of these basics that I have sitting around. Let's play with these. Yeah, for some reason he got obsessed with, I picked up the Hasbro Steiner Brothers, which I got a sick deal on them, and they were like minty. I'm talking like these things look like they were fresh out of the box somehow. Uh-huh. And he was just obsessed with them. Like he wanted to get them, and he's still at that age where like he's not booking, Tokyo Dome 5-star classics. He's just grabbing them and smash. So I'm just, part of me is like, okay, I really want to foster this. I really want him to be into wrestling figures if that's something he's into. But I'm also like, oh, maybe not these two.
We started getting him the Motus. The Motus have been a good supplement.
Yeah, the Motus got a good playability for the little guy also.
Yeah,
so.
They're still cartoony enough, but they're got that size of the like Hasbro-ish, retro-ish style. So that he likes those.
Or just get him some Galoobs, some the old Galoobs that may have some paint wear on them. Those are too easy to weaponize, man. I know you guys know those Galoobs make excellent projectiles.
That's
man.
Very true. So. And our little guy loves to throw.
I used to always throw King Kong Bundy LJN at Scott's head.
Well, that's a WMD, man. That's that's a declaration of war. You throw that King Kong Bundy at somebody, man.
If it wasn't a toy train, it was
you really could. That was he was killed by a Bundy. Yeah.
Cause of death.
Cause of death, Bundy. No, we're not talking about Ted.
Yes.
So, Scott, for episode 266, anything else?
Big thank you to Marco, Seth, and Sheena. Guys, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Fig Life since 2016. And happy toy hunting.
Scott, should I say spay and neuter your kittens or your cats or your animals?
You just did.
Okay, yeah. So do that. And I want to thank everyone for listening to episode 266. #FigLife. Adios.
Yeah. Foleyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring. But we don't take it out the box, MOC. Happy toy hunting, we'll see you next week. We're the OGs of WFP. Foleyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. #FigLife, adios from the Kings.